this nice looking G2 side and the latest map to be added into the game.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, it's not a lot of controversy because everybody knows that there's been so many changes to most of the teams that it didn't, there was not really a big discussion about the teams that were invited. Let's see if the discussion was supposed to be made, because again, even if they invited G2, how could they know this? How could they know that G2 was going to become this strong? Again.
Again.
Yeah.
You always have to expect that this G2 side is going to be at least somewhat scary. And here we are, the closed qualifiers. G2 Esports, a new look, but a really good looking one overall, up against a Vitality that maybe don't impress on the face, but they've had some decent results behind them. Vitality going to be attacking first, heading more towards the B site and elbow. That's where Mixwell's holding with his utility.
Yeah, and let's see if he gets the info ready, soon enough to tell the rest of his teammates, because they're going on their own aggressive. And they're gonna find Vitality pretty soon. Are they gonna be checking them, though? Doesn't look like. Oh.
There's a lot of loitering in elbow, and it's provided a bit of room for G2 to go walkabouts, but Bram's keeping an eye on it. Kellogg's trades out the teammate of Nuki. Both those duelists walking together. He keeps trying to push. Now Vitality going to spread across the map, use this space, but minor members of G2 are all isolated, looking for fights across this map. Coldamenta by the massive pillar in mid is going to be hit from utility in various areas. Luckily, Mixwell is there to protect, but his eyes taken away from this B side. The toxic screen coming in, Vitality looking to plant on B.
Yeah, and probably won't find much trouble. Mixwell does not have any left abilities anymore, utility on site. They're still on this 4v3, but still, one bullet can change everything. 30 seconds on the clock. It's time to plan. They need to make it safe. They need to wait for that Viper wall maybe again to seek for that safety. Oh, Sender, you gotta move. Oh, that's just great.
Mixwell was there. I like the idea that Sender was trying to hold on. Maybe he could get away from it in the corner, but there's not that much time left for Vitality to plant. Luckily, they get it down. 40 seconds now before we see the spike explode. Vitality, 7 HP Loki is holding on to the backside. There's a recon dart available, and they don't really know where these G2 players are playing from. It's a wide open site, and Mixwell and Avova are finding a lot of success. It's a clear up, and Mixwell, well, it might be a bit odd to see him on the killjoy, but the impact of the player is still there, 1-0.
It was the way they turned the tables on that round. That 4v3, they know that they needed to wait for that Viper wall, as I was saying, to come up so they could take freely the positions that they wanted. Also waiting to see if G2 would make the first step, but the utility was used just perfectly. And as I was saying, one bullet can change everything. Well, they needed maybe 4, maybe 6. But Jesus, with those headshots, they clear the round for themselves. First for them. Kellogg's with that Marshall that we love to see. And apparently, Vitality is going to force because they planted.
Did go down to quite low numbers. That's what the G2 are expecting. And Kellogg's is going to be on the Marshall, a cheaper weapon, but it's still quite a good one if you can get some success with it.
If you're Kellogg's, definitely.
Yeah, if you can make a toaster work, I'm sure.
Mixwell on his own, defending this B side. All of the Vitality team members looking onto that side again. And here comes the entrance. Let's see the rotations coming in fast.
Mixwell did well to hold it last time. He's going to hear a shot of bigger weapons. Might be like, okay, they forced up. I need to be careful. I certainly need to be careful now that my position's being pulsed. Shock darts coming in from Loki and Sender with the Sheriff headshot. Going to put down the MVP of the last round out of the server for now, but there's still 4 members of G2 trying to swoop around this site. It's a long burden in progress. Vitality are holding on, a lot of pressure coming in, and Brams is there with a bit of a counter-attack coming in. Coldamenta flashed, stunned. It's nice to see the breach back in play, but Kellogg's with the Marshall. That's a 2k for him. He's under a lot of pressure to find a little bit more, and time isn't going to necessarily be on his side. It's only the 2 he's able to get, and a force-up for Vitality working out wonders.
Yeah, working out wonders. They tried the same as they were planning to do last round, but they wanted to be more explosive, just coming in way faster. The way they spotted Mixwell and took him out of his misery was really important for the rest of the round. They just could plan easily. Also, Brams with the with the positioning on mid and just taking them by surprise, which just it made it pretty easy for them. And now if G2 has problems economically, they're gonna have to go on this eco round. Let's see what they do and if they repeat on B, because now the reinforcements have come. Now we see also Coldamenta helping out Mixwell on this side. For it not to happen again.
Potentially there. B-site feels like it's going to be the common one to be hit. I still think it's not really been enough time of seeing Breeze and officials. It's starting to make its way in at a glacial pace. The pick of G2. Maybe not relying on Ascent as much this time. They've shown different looks with different agents, but I think having a consistently decent Breeze is going to be very important for teams moving into stage 3. And a pretty good KO, potentially, but we're not going to be seeing that this stage. Kellogg's pushing for information. It's not uncommon from the G2 we've been seeing so far, but he goes down early.
Yeah, and Browns with his positioning here, the paranoia coming in, trying to help his teammates, but he's not going to find anyone. The recon, although, is going to do that work for him. And the flash is coming in. Oh, Nuke is just... It's just Nuke. Oh my god.
Oh, Nuke. He's still been able to survive at this point. I don't think he's going to get more than that. Sender's there to hold on. It's nice to see him back on the breach. He was one of the stronger ones way back when on XL Esports, but breach hasn't necessarily been a popular pick up until now.
Yeah, pretty complicated with 2 Marshals. Oh my god, they even using...
Yeah, they want to put this one to bed. Coldamenta's still behind this box. Jesus. The new look of the Aftershock is coming in. It's an onslaught of utility, but Coldamenta's continuing to push. The recon dart is even necessary as Sender gets the 3rd. Does it get the 4th? Mixwell's going to win that fight, but a great round for Sender. Honestly, one of my favorite players to watch in Europe, bar none. And so seeing him back on an agent, I think really made him a must pick up for Vitality in December of last year. It feels good.
And with the changes, the upcoming changes, well, the changes for Breach, what do you feel like? Is it a nerf or a buff? Because there's been some discussion around that.
I like it. I think it's kind of equal. Obviously, flashes are more expensive. You have one less, but the fault line is great. The Rolling Thunder is a beefy bit of Roblox that's going to go across the map now. I think whether it makes it better or worse is not really the question. Does it make him a more well-rounded agent? Absolutely. He's not just a flashbot, which is nice. I think hopefully people can see from players like Sender...
Yeah, but nobody likes being a flashbot.
I don't mind. I play a bit of Sky. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy it.
Sky's not only a flashbot. I like playing Sky as well. Anyway, that previous round with all the utility that they used, including that Rolling Thunder that we were talking about, it was a win for Vitality, but also in some kind of way not that big of a lose for of a loss for G2, because they used all that. They don't have it for this round. 40 seconds has gone by, and pretty split on the map. Taking that pillar position on Sender that we were just talking about. Still haven't decided where do they want to finish this round.
B has got a lot of stuff going on for G2. Both Kellogg's and Mixwell, the old Jet and the new, sort of sitting back and waiting. And this is a bait. The recon dart is going to go in onto the site. We have the toxic screen coming through too.
30 seconds.
Kellogg's gets a peek, can't quite get the shot. And look at that, Nuki's rotation. Oh, it's a hesitant one. He was going for it, but now he's not too sure. Mostly because he doesn't know if there's anybody in tunnel or in mid. But mostly because this is going to be an A hit. Vac has managed to slip in. Avova wasn't expected, but he's still alive, at least for now. The big duel for him to win, but Brams has broken in and broken onto those G2 players playing on the A site. The spike's going down, and that was a beautiful bait and rotate.
Yeah, they tried. Nuki thought it was more enough. Well, seems like the round is not over yet. Kellogg's with the operator, Nuki, as well, who were saying, beautiful Reyna player. That lockdown that's gonna come out. Either you gotta come out and destroy it, you gotta leave.
Last player standing.
Vitality doing their best to stay. Brams trying to open up the sight lines, take on some of these duels. But that lockdown has created everything that G2 need, but Brams isn't going down that easily. Kellogg's now with a Blade Storm, trying to play in close, and he clutches it out. That's the second round for G2, a 2-all scoreline. A great play mid-round for Vitality, but the retake even better for G2.
Yeah, and since when they got those first 2 kills, everything just aligned. They saw so easily to just use the lockdown and start to thinking about that retake was possible. It was not only possible, it was gonna happen. because you put them in that position. They gotta choose. They gotta be fast. And Kellogg's also using a lot of utility. You get the ultimate, you use it. That's how this map is going so far. Every single ultimate that a player has gotten, they've used on the same round. Let's see if it happens the same. And Nuki starts with an Empress right away.
Vitality, loving to see all of these lineups.
Here.
Better shown from Zilv, our producer observer, doing a great job as per usual. There's a lot to learn, certainly from our perspective, watching and analysing the game, but there's an easy bit of analysis to make. Kellogg's is good, and Kellogg's is very aggro on this defense. It catches a completely unsuspecting Vitality, who have made some headway at least into the tunnel, but Coldamenta knows that they're there.
Yeah. He has the info. He doesn't have enough HP. He's not feeling too confident. He decided to back off. That mid-top has been sold out by G2. Let's see if Snooki didn't spot anyone.
Oh, the knife out, Mixwell. He wasn't expecting that, and there's been a couple of times where Vitality have really caught this G2 team sleeping, but every time it seems to be Nuki or Evolver being able to bail out this team. The ex-Heretics members have been worth their weight in gold. I'm pretty sure Carlos would have thrown the checkbook at Heretics to get them, and even this early on, it's worthwhile. But here's Vat coming in. First player to ever get Radiant. Or Valorant way back when in Europe. Nice little bit of pop culture, I suppose. Not even pop culture, it's just a little bit of trivia, but it's nice, and so was that play from Vac.
Yeah, and Kellos needs to think of saving this operator for the next round, and they definitely gotta talk about what happened in mid. How did they take those positions and literally just flip the map their way? They could do whatever they want. They had Vac, as you said, great position, and no one was expecting him there. We need to chill for a second. I would expect even a timeout, maybe not after this round, but maybe after a couple rounds. I would expect it from G2 to say, okay, how are they opening the map like this? How are we allowing this to happen? It's only been a couple rounds, but still, it's important to get this defense. As I said yesterday against No Poaching, they were pretty strong on this Breeze defense. So I expected to see the same here.
You have to be proactive on Breeze. Clearly one important thing for G2 is if you're not doing anything, try and get information, albeit with utility, with pushing forward. Problem is, if G2 start to look around and explore the map a little, they open themselves up to various angles. The operator for Kellogg's is still in his hands. However, the rest of the money for G2 not looking that ideal, and Vitality hoping to buffer their lead.
And it looks like this is gonna be something aggressive on that tube. They're completely selling out that mid part of the map. And again, Vitality looking forward to maybe some aggression from B. They're not gonna find it, but they're pretty together and thinking about a B side as their new home.
Mixwell playing off of it like quite a lot. The alarm bot was up on that sort of bottom left corner of the B site. There's a nanoswarm in the top one too. Mixwell is more than happy to give up the site, try and play for a retake. A slow G2 push coming in from behind. Might be able to get in onto Snake. That's where Coldamenta is slivering his way through, but Brams has at least checked it, but is not really paying much attention, but he still wins the duel with the better gun with the band.
Yeah, and they gotta think of using that operator that they save, but they're not gonna be that lucky. Nuki gets one, but it's probably not gonna be enough. Look at Mixwell's position in here. Jasmine low-key, and again, Kellogg's has to save this operator. Nicely played, always keeping guard up from Vitality. Let's see if they can chase and destroy Kellogg's. They need to steal the operator. Nice.
Not too sure if it's the polar opposite. So G2, we know if they win this, they play the winner of Fnatic versus 10-Star. I don't necessarily know if it's the loser of this game plays the loser of Fnatic or 10-Star. Part of me assumes that would be the case because that's the most logical.
I can check.
What's 10?
Can I? I don't think I can.
We'll work
I think
it out.
so.
Yeah, it'd be weird if it wasn't that. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they juggle it up in the losers bracket a bit, so You see some of the other brackets and seeds and branches of a 512 team open qualifier play up against each other.
We were starting with this Viper's Pit. Vak is gonna say, you know what? You know who's a good operator? Me. Ends up with Kellex. Playing pretty standard across the map. Oh my god, also finds Nuki.
Too
No
easy.
duelists for G2 this round. It was a
I
full
find
buy
it
for them.
odd.
What?
I really find it odd that you see the Viper's Pit being used and then they're pushing somewhere else. Like, clearly you're just opening up the door a little. I like that from Mixwell at least. It catches Brams by surprise. But that Viper's Pit doesn't really find all that much because now Avova's found himself having to clear up some of the rest of the ground on this map. Mixwell's not even sure where to position himself, but right here the Aldron. He definitely sees it at this point, and the Aldron sees him. It tags it. The Hunter's Fury is going to try and connect and chase him, and he's down to 20 HP. Gets out with his life, but it's not going to be all that much good on this retake, but Avova's got a nice little angle.
Yeah, let's see if he can take advantage of it. They haven't seen him just yet. He knows where Sender is. Doesn't know the position of the other two, but he can definitely think where they are easily. Let's see if Bacchus specs him. He doesn't. Now he has. Oh. They had to group up. It was a very tough decision for them.
If Sender's going to have a peek, he's going to flash it. It's smart stuff. There's all of that utility following. Mixwell, it really is coming thundering down, and Mixwell still finds a way to win the duel, but there's just not enough time. And Vak with this operator really didn't have to do all that much. He held on to the sort of main area of mid doors, and two players ran out and peeked him and died. That was his round, and it set up Vitality for number 5.
Exactly, pretty easy from that side. Mixwell managed to save his Vandal. It's I think it's the first time in this VCT that we have seen G2 on this position where they're losing in a map.
Bit more sweat on their brow. This is where we really test some of these lineups, and whilst I think Liquid and Fnatic did us proud in Reykjavik, with 4 teams going to Berlin this stage, I still think there's a strong chance that maybe neither Fnatic or Liquid actually make it, looking at some of the strong teams in here. Not necessarily saying that G2 or Vitality are one of the strong contenders. You've got FBX, you've got Nip, you've got Gambit as well. Potentially Na'Vi getting involved. Plus, Fnatic and Liquid are good teams. The point is that competition is incredibly fierce, and if this G2 team is looking as good as it has been up until now, they're certainly on that list. This Vitality team is going to be a problem. Coldament has found a nice sort of connection in. Sender quickly trades. It was necessary. Coldament could have ran away with a few more, and luckily they're starting to steady the ship. They're up against G2 Zico. G2 are spread across this map yet again.
Yeah, they think they know that G2 is going to be aggressive, and the moment they stop thinking about that G2 is being aggressive, but Sender is doing a great job today. I think it's a really hard time. Yeah,
Fault
and again,
line.
the plan on B, it's going to be an easy round for them.
Sender knows exactly where these duels are happening, and even from a
30
distance,
Spike
he's able to make those fault lines a bit more of a threat for Nuki. Now Mixwell has actually found a gun on the ground. He's one away from having a lockdown, but it might be better to save it for another round, certainly if it's a little bit more closer than this, but at least he can try and pull this economy. Yeah, I think he did. His economy might be fine, but if he could do some more damage to Vitalities, that'll be key, because that's a few rounds in a row that they've won now. Sender picking up a third. He's got the operator in hand too. 4 rounds now, their economy is looking grand.
Yeah, and they don't really have to think much. I'd say that mostly for the rest of the... Oh yeah, here comes the timeout. I told you, maybe not in that moment. Definitely a couple of rounds from then. They needed this timeout. They needed to talk about what was happening on the map. Where are the holes? What's happening that we cannot control? We've been controlling every team during this VCT, during these qualifiers, and now we come here with the big opponent, our first big opponent, and things are not working. And they were working till now, so let's see what they're doing that we cannot face.
I'm impressed with this Vitality. It's a team that I enjoyed watching the pieces being put together bit by bit by the ex-coach Fragon. Different leader of this team and a couple of different players. Jesmond coming in from the unsigned stack of, it would have been, I want to say, the European version of Nolpenki, I think it was, that Jesmond used to play for. And Loki was on Institute. At the recent additions, out went FQ, was one of the players to be dropped from this roster. So was Machina. So they've had a couple of changes themselves. Stage 2, it's the identical team from Stage 2 to now. Their form wasn't bad in that point. It's just being able to perform better off of it. And I think a win over G2 would be a nice look to begin.
Yeah, definitely. Kellogg's is going to be playing this Operator Glass Cannon. If it is enough. Looks like A-side is going to be the chosen one. Vac is doing amazing work with this Operator. You literally cannot ask anything else from him.
Frankly, I don't think he's being contested all that much. There's no flashes, there's no sky or breach on this G2 side. Not the flashes fix everything, but it at least makes sure that you can clear an angle of an operator if you're about to push it. Now the Viper's Pit, I like the position it's been used in. Look, he's going to try and slip by, and there's no player particularly watching that angle, and with that Empress, he's going to be more problematic. He's trying to get out of the way of Loki's recon dart, and Loki's just seeing this Reyna look all over the place, trying to work out where that pulse is coming from. And Vac, not with the Operator, but with the Blade Storm, catches on to the IGL of G2. Jesmond's there to follow up. Dominant so far for Vitality on this attack.
Sorry, what?
Very dominant.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, of course, they saved the Operator, and talk was not enough. And as we were saying, one of the problems is the absence of flashes, something else to initiate more than that Sova. I can give you something to directly counter what Vac is doing in this map, which is not little. Maybe trying that comp that we were playing on Bind on this map would also be nice. Maybe a little adjustments. But I think Kellogg did nice on that Sky.
Kellogg's has multiple people trying to fire in on him. Still able to pick up the Blade Storm. Hasn't activated it just yet. Mixwell running through with the Sheriff finds Loki and doesn't win out that fight. Back to this point, it looks like he doesn't even want to use the Blade Storm.
What is this crosshair? Please, Brams. It's hurting my eyes. But I mean, if it's working for him, who am I to speak?
I feel like it's going to burn onto a monitor if you leave it there too long.
I mean, if it works for him, it has to be something on it, definitely. Mixwell was trying on this eco to get some information on how they're playing, especially at the beginning of the rounds, to see how they're setting up their attack. Let's get the spike is rotating. Oh, so in some trouble mid. The rotations from G2 are going to A side. Let's see what Vitality does.
It is just Vitality holding angles and waiting G2 to push them. It's a straightforward way. They're not going to correct anything. They don't need to. But G2 constantly just having a peek, seeing what they can find. Nuki at least finds a kill, but might not be expecting players to be close to him. That's a great second follow-up, and now he's trying to get onto Sender. He is flashed, but doesn't expect Loki to be playing up that close. Koldeminter can't have similar success with a multi-kill. That is round number 8 coming in for Vitality. 2 more, or 4 more even, of this half. 2 more. I'm done.
Yeah, 2 more only for this attack. Again, Vac retakes that Operator. I mean, their economy is looking clean again. Kellogg's is going to have that glass cannon Operator. He's not taking a lot of toll on them. They're not really exactly reading what they're doing. They're good on duels. Obviously, Nuke is that explosive, as he always is. But it's just not being enough, especially when Sender comes into play with all those flashes and the support for his team.
Sender with the off. Rolling Thunder is actually going to come through exactly where this toxic screen is placed. Although is on the map, he is on the site. Ooh. The recon dart isn't going to find him as he manages to slip through. Can catch Vac, who's all on his lonesome. All of this clouding utility makes it difficult for Vitality to get the kills, but Brams has made his way in. That's a nice triple kill. knows exactly where the Reyna's going to be playing from, and the Hunter's Fury Coldamenta is going to catch onto one player. It's going to see what else it can grab, but it can't confirm a kill. Now Nucky, he's been finding success in a couple of these fights, but not enough to confirm a round for G2. The shock dart takes the attention away, and now Brams. Maybe ace up this for Coldamenta. It's open, but now a 1 versus 1. Let's see what one of the recent additions for G2 can do. Loki is there as well. And it's calm and collected for him. Very well done. Off the back of Rams cleaning up house of G2. There was just one player left, and it's defusing the spike.
The intention from Vitality was almost perfect that round. We could see TP by Omen on the back. He got 3 kills. He opened a lot of spikes for his team. Aboba, with his movement, prevented the spike from being planted. Also avoided to being seen by the recon. Still was not enough for Vitality. They managed to get the plan. Rams with that 4K. Still didn't manage to get the round for themselves. Let's call them into clutch at the round.
Okay, he deserves a bit of credit as well. He wasn't the one finishing out the round, but he's found himself 2Ks, 3Ks to keep it close and reasonable for G2. He's been doing well.
Yeah, and again, this Viper's Pit by Aboba on B entrance on B main. See that they weren't even thinking about it just now. They also used the lockdown to move them away from mid, maybe, and prevent any further entrance to me.
Almost got detained. Unreasonable, really, considering how big Breeze is. Look, he's under a lot of pressure. The Eldron's going to look one way, but it doesn't look the other. So Coldamenta can play there. Look, he's actually going to bring out the Empress. He can try and dismiss and go invisible. He can clear himself out of dangerous position, but the Hunter's Fury doesn't kill him. He catches on to Sender. And Brams, a bit of a late sort of flank coming in from mid doors. Nucky's there to prepare. Kellogg's is there to help. And for one of the few times it's only really worked out for G2. I say that though. Jesmond, a 1 versus 2. Doesn't have the spike on the ground, but that toxic screen can at least give him a bit of subtlety to pick it up. There's 30 seconds, not really enough time to head over to B.
He needs to decide whether he's going to do it. He's going to wait for a push. 20 seconds. Now he has to go for A if he goes. Why shouldn't he? Waiting for that toxic screen to recharge, have that Venom back. He can play boss blind. He should be fine if it allows him to be.
It's out in the open, and that's a nice little flick for a Vova with the
Spectre.
The SMG, yeah. 4th round for G2 to take, it feels. Now it's their turn to attack. They could bully the map a little bit more, and I hope that Vitality have a good idea on how they want to deal with this, because you've got Nucky, you've got Kellogg's, both on duelists, and frankly, I do think that G2 could play this incredibly spread out and just find duels everywhere on the map. It's what they've been doing for the qualifiers. I would expect it to happen here on this map too.
Yeah, and it's, I think it's what they need, you know, take advantage of that double duelist, try to avoid the flashes as much as possible, avoid Sender at all cost. And I think this pistol round for them is almost compulsory. They really needed to, you know, the things more in perspective. See what they do, because it looks like it's going to be a fast A. Take care with that Brams and that Paranoia.
4-8 at half-time. G2's map pick. They're down 4-8. And they get to attack and immediately coming in with a bit of that whole pressure. Right by the switch towards the back of this A site now, and much like we saw from G2's defense, Vitality are also going walkabouts and finding very little in mid. G2 are going to realize that this A site is open, and they've got really good post-plant positions, even if they don't move at these points.
Yeah, Mixwell using the Nano Swam. They've seen if they're not on A, they're probably coming through the back, and they all are. Mixwell here is going to have a hard task.
He shuts down the flash, but he is completely dumbfounded. Brams manages to slip on through without taking lethal damage. He's still quite low overall. Mixwell's at least going to be able... He's going to relay that information, and Nukier is going in for the pinch. I don't think Vitality are going to expect this, but never mind. Jesmond was watching. Double P comes in to at least trade out the teammate as quick as they can, but this is a lot of information that G2 can use.
Yeah, and I think they still have that recon. Here, Colamantis stun Kellogg's. Finds Brams. Gotta go for the defuse. Oh.
These post-bomb positions are nice. The crossfires for G2 are comfortable, and whilst they are dropping one by one, it is just going to be a Vova left alive. He manages to survive at the end, just on the outside of where the spike was going to implode. He said it was a must-win pistol for G2, and they take it.
Yeah, but it was. I really like the movement from Vitality, because if they hadn't picked A, okay, I don't like talking ifs, because but if they hadn't picked A, I would have really liked to see where that went, where that would have gone, you know, with all that 5-man pushing, taking all that, not only B but also mid, and it was really close. It still could have been around for either of the teams. See how they do on the second one. We're gonna see Vitality on this echo round, and G2 with those Spectres. We're gonna see what they're doing on B. Reinforcements are coming from CT. Also the drone to gather that information. Oh, they're gonna get more than one.
They're on the site. Brams is a lot closer than clearly Kellogg's was expecting. Look, he's been bailing out his team now and again, though. He's been great just playing off the action a little, finding some off angles that Vitality can't keep a track of. There's far too many in the big map of Breeze. I really like, yet again, these post-bomb positions for G2. It's vast and open, and whilst it is up against pistols, does it nicely.
Yeah. We expected that it's gonna be a fast round, and it has been that way. What else could we expect? Let's see what they do, because Breeze is a long and big map. This tier 1 rifles are gonna definitely be a difference. You see that marks on the map. Looks like they're gonna go again for that B, looking for that close quarter. A is too open, and that Viper wall can do a lot for them on B side. They're gonna go for that, and Nuki is gonna be on mid, just waiting for those rotations and try to make a little damage.
There's also this picket line towards A. 4 players all lined up, mostly there to control mid on different elevations. There's Vac that's staring into mid, taking peeks, very careful and considered. And Jesmond, through his own toxic screen, hoping to see what he can find and where he can find it. The Eldron is a good, clear communication that he's under some amount of stress. With him being shown up by the Eldron, Kellogg's is close to distance much more than Jesmond was overall expecting. These post plants on A are going to be a real pain in the backside for Vitality to clear, and they're going about this very slowly.
Yeah, and they need to think fast. Transpositioning is not working in their favor. That toxic screen is gonna mean so much from you today. Get that information. But it looks like they're gonna go for exit frags. They don't even want to take the fight. They want to save this tier 1 rifles. Also, not just from themselves, but also so G2 doesn't get them.
Yeah, Rams wants nothing to do with it. He's just been sat in A. The sender's there. Dart, he's not really going to go for these fights, but the fights might come to him. Mixwell trying to get out to safety, and it keeps G2's economy in a bit more of a problematic position. But they have won every single round of their attacks so far, and they're only one round behind Vitality.
Yeah, it was very important for them, this bonus, and the fact that Vitality didn't even want to fight it. We see here Cola and Mixwell just trying to, you know, they had to get out of the point. Let's try to get at least one kill, one upgrade to our guns, but couldn't happen that way. Still, they're going to be able to buy. They're going to keep those 2 Spectres because, as you said, they won every round this attack. Let's see if it keeps being that way, or if Vitality gives us another aggression that they can knock counter.
Not the straightforward B hit that's coming out of G2 this time. More play into mid, and frankly, Vitality haven't really been finding those duels outright. But Sender finds a key one onto Nuki. He was going through Hall, and as we've been saying, Vitality have been holding on to these positions. Kellogg's was trying to catch onto Jesmond. The toxic screen is going to give up that spot. Mixwell is there to follow in from B, and another B plant coming in. More understandable and easy to retake numbers for Vitality. But Vac really needs to be winning those shots, and Kellogg's punishes.
That was just great from Kellogg's. Even Flash, you just can't duel him. He didn't have the best defense, but now on attack, he's doing everything for his team. He's creating a lot of space. He's giving a lot of info, and this is another round that is gonna go for G2. We saw them with a lot more standard setup across the map. They do take a fall, but apparently not enough. Oh, he's gonna go for him. Does he expect him?
Not on that corner. Doesn't matter too much for G2. It's their 4th round of the half. They've made the honors even. The majority of Vitality last time tried to save their guns. This time it's just Brams. I don't know how good the economy is going to be going into this next round, but I definitely feel it's not going to be great.
Yeah, probably not. Brams is just a pacifist, you know? He didn't want to last round. He stayed on A. He just wanted the same for this round. A pacifist with 17 kills, but a pacifist at heart, you know?
See, we're gonna see a couple marshals. We were talking about the same on G2's defense. It's gonna be a pocket round, as we said, against the full buy of G2. Again, pretty stacked together. Trying this B side. A side, sorry.
And all Vandals for G2. Makes sense when you're looking at the dual distance for a lot of these fights being a very, very long distance. A distance that the Vandal will consistently headshot on.
Ooh.
But that can do similar stuff on the Marshal. Tries to dash out, and Loki is there to at least finish off some of these kills. It's nice stuff, and this fast punching G2 has to slow down just a little bit. A lot of utility coming in to clear these Marshals, but Zender's just adding more and more to them.
And it's a
flawless
flawless
round.
victory. They're gonna get all those 5 Vandals that you were talking at the beginning of the rounds. Are gonna be, well, not all of them, but at least 3 of them are gonna be for Vitality. We were talking about those Marshals, and also the support from the Spectre was enough. They didn't have to slow on this A entrance, because it couldn't even be an entrance with that covering. Looks like G2 might want to repeat. Oh, no, let's say, okay, last round, let's just not think about last round. Okay, let's try and think about this one. See what they do also with this Viper Wall. They're waiting for every single round to begin, to use it in a different way. Confusing a lot, you know. You don't know if they're going to use it for themselves, you're going to use them as bait, maybe just for one of them. Yeah, because this A side is pretty free for them. Not as free as they would like it to be, but pretty free.
Depends how much we see Vova pushing. The lockdown's in a nice position. It's going to force out these defenders that are playing from mid-door. Vac and Sender might have to pack it up, and Sender actually is just going to have to accept the fact he's getting detained. Vova isn't that far away to punish. There's the confirm. Vac just can't necessarily capture onto the coattails of the Viper that's made their way into the A site. Lockdown, Vitality weren't expecting it as much, otherwise they wouldn't be as flat-footed as they were.
Yeah, and with the spike planted, they need to think about this retake in a 4v5, well, 3v5 situation. Never mind, Jasmine has another opinion. Kellogg's was doing much better in these attack than in defense. Hooky also finds a bow with the shock dart. Steal. 3v2 on the situation. Clock's ticking.
He's making it close at least. Just had to take Kellogg's out the picture, hoping to catch a player that was trying to peek off of him. But Kellogg's doesn't need it. He gets the 4th K, brings the scores again equal at 9-0. And an instant response for G2, losing a round that frankly looked a bit awkward for them, up against a half buy. You could even call it a thrifty, the high end of that. Great response, and Vitality a bit lost in the woods there a little, I feel.
We went from 2 Marshals to 2 operators, and I'm vibing for it, especially on this. Oh yeah, it definitely works. And if the Marshals worked, this definitely is gonna be. It's gonna have a much bigger impact. At least that's what we think. Also, Viper Spit used on A main. Oh no, Brams. Oh no.
He overstepped the mark a little bit. Again, it feels that when these Vipers pick goes up on the defense, you want to be hunkering down. Vac has that idea. Albeit he's playing very far up on elbow. Now has the dash. It's just not safe to walk because Evova's lurking. Mid is compromised. Now G2 with 3 members alive. It's still on the low side. You got the Viper still dedicating over for Vitality onto A main, onto Cave. So it's more of a 3v3 as we look to be executing onto this B.
Oof. I was pretty scared. I thought that was gonna be it, and that was the sign to go in. Also, Sender had a different opinion and said, "Oh, you want to come in? Actually, no. Let me use this Rolling Thunder. You stay in there. You lose Mixwell, and what are you gonna do now?"
Strike down B.
He's going to absolutely destroy them with the operator, is Vac. Now Mixwell, they know where he is. The recon down is going to pulse to just nail it down, and whilst one of the two operators that we saw at Vitality went down incredibly early with Brams, Vac just clears up with the other with a 4K, and again, Vitality taking the lead.
It was 4K for Kellogg's, then 4K for Vac. They're trying to see, you know, who's the jet diff. Definitely, they're both playing beautiful for their teams. And this attack from G2 that was being so demolishing for Vitality is not anymore. Maybe it's because of that operator on Vac that's having a great map so far. Maybe it's that they run out of ideas? I don't think so.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
This early in the tournament. But you also, a big credit to Sender's Rolling Thunder. That's not an average Jonas lineup. I know he's watching party in this, and he's probably thinking, what the hell was that? Rams now, oh, he's going to get shut down for the Hunter's Fury. The Recon Dart doesn't quite connect, but the ultimate does. Back. Oh, he's more in the midst of his own. Loki was shooting through his teammate, and it just threw back off enough that one of the members of G2 could just peek out and kill him. Now we're seeing this Viper's Pit in from Mixwell. Sender could be a hero here, top fragging for his team, and has a flash still, but this is an awkward one to break through, and G2, look at them. They're starting to sneak their way through.
It's not only the Viper's Pit, they also have the Viper Wall. Oh, Jessamine takes Goldament out. Gets spotted, though.
Oh. Now Vova is nowhere near the site. It's not the Viper's Pit from Mixwell, but is that going to be enough to defuse? No, not quite. He got halfway, so maybe another member can take it over. The defuse is going to come in even before the snake bite hits. Vova clearly wanted to play off, hoping his teammates would survive in that fashion too, bear in mind. But as he left, the rest of G2 fell. Vitality get their 11th.
Yeah, very important adjustment on this last round. He knows his way around a Viper's Pit, so he said, you know, I'll take it from here. But the two most important kills, I would have had to leave to play post plan, but it just wasn't enough. It's pretty disgusting to see those Venoms fall, but still, not enough to beat Vitality, who are 2 rounds away for closing this map in their favor. Reminded to the people who are watching us that this was G2's pick. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
So let's see what they do on the next map. That I think is going to be Icebox, but still not there. Let's see what happens in the rest of this map.
Vova wasn't quite the hero in the last round. Kind of slipped through his fingers a little bit, but he starts off with first blood. Sender has been trading it out. Still a cheeky operator over in mid door that could catch up G2 if they try and pick this a little wide. Kellogg's clearly looking for jewels from any angle that he can take them. Off the back of this Aldron for Loki, they're going to scout out exactly where these G2 players are playing from. You can tell on this site with the pyramids, not all that much room to hide behind, and Sender, it's a nice fault line to try and uproot where Kellogg's is playing from. He's going to finish it off himself, and Mixwell actually with the lockdown playing in close. Position has been given up by the Recon Dart, but the defuse is going to be stuck. Oh, the Nanoswarm actually stops it in time. Mixwell might be able to clutch it out, and Brams, whilst he gets the kill, he's going to get detained. That is an incredibly smart lockdown.
Yeah,
I don't think he is. Unfortunately, no.
Oh my god. That was 9,000 IQ from Mixwell. He used the lockdown. Either you push me and you're trying to get the lockdown, either you get the defuse. You can't get both. And even with that, you couldn't get any of them. They get the kill. They don't get the lockdown. And now, oh, we're going to see another timeout from G2 after that round. Maybe Mixwell needs to chill out after what just happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's the lineup as well from the Nanoswarms. It's not an angle that you can really practice and play from a lot. It's a very in-the-moment thinking. Clearly, Vitality were hoping that they had a bit more room to breathe, but people were wondering how Mixwell would look on the Sentinel. Well, there you go. Incredibly good.
I was going to tell you, how many lineups has Mixwell had to learn? Because he's been on Viper, he's been on Cypher, on Killjoy, on Sky. So it's like as he's playing Reina, you know? He really needs to think this through. And
probably Coldamenta, I feel. Again, just
oh, yeah,
Coldamenta
again,
teaching
yeah.
him the ways.
Yeah, but even if Coldamenta is teaching him, he has to learn all of them and remember them for different maps. I don't know. It's a lot for the time that they've been playing together.
There's definitely been a mix of opinions on Mixwell's strength as a duelist when it comes to mechanical skill. But one thing that's consistent, whether you think that Mixwell was a good jet or not, I think everybody said that he was an incredibly smart player. So seeing him on a role where he can use his brain a bit more to make plays like that, it's a real nice sight to see. And G2 are still in it on their map pick. They're still a round even down. Vitality is still looking good for the most part, and Vac with the op is looking towards Cave.
Yeah, and they really need Vac to get one of those rounds with the operator. Seen a couple of them that were pretty important for the team. Looks like they're going again for this A side. Oh. Here is Vac taking Nuki. One of the duelists is off. Let's see what Kellis can do from inside the center point.
Oh, this utility raining down to try and take the jet out, but it's not even them that makes the damage known to G2. It's a flawless one for Vitality. It's match point. And off the back of an exceptional round for G2, Vitality instantly respond, and they do so with emphatic fashion.
Yeah, and Bram's having a hell of a map here. We're gonna have 2 chances to close the map, or maybe we'll take this to overtime after that last time up from G2. Let's see what we could expect from them. Swapping up now, they're thinking more about that B side. Take care, because Sender is there, and we've seen crazy things about him only on this map. I mean, not only on this map, but this map specifically today. And he's only 1 orb away from his ultimate. Really important for this round.
It's an important one. Sender looking to close this one out. These Rolling Thunders have constantly found impact, and Nuki with a Sheriff has also been one of those things that you can't really ignore. Sender held down from multiple pistols from multiple angles. He eventually is taken down, but he takes the free K. Now up to Avova on this Vandal, on this Viper, to try and clutch it out 1 versus 2. Still has the spike in hand. And Vitality aren't necessarily pressing and pushing him fast. They're taking this incredibly slow, and it's a bit of an opening for Avova to go elsewhere, and there's plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, exactly. He still has the time. He's not gonna have utility on his hands to play around A if he decides so. So maybe he's gonna come look for them at CT. Maybe look at the same situation just from a different angle. He knows he's got Vac on with the operator, so he knows the entrance is gonna be pretty difficult. He also thinks that they expect him to be probably on the other side of the wall. See what we can do. Oh, he left it. He left the operator.
He's going back. I don't think Vitality are going to expect him to be up this close, but he wasn't going to expect Vac to instantly play off of it. Vitality